Hello, you crazy little marketing bees. You're tuned in to episode 67 of the Marketing Buzzword Podcast.
This is the Marketing Buzzword Podcast, the podcast where we dissect the world's most common marketing buzzwords. Hold on tight. We are about to fly around the beehive to see the latest buzzwords that stuck to the marketing bees.
Hello again, and welcome back to the Marketing Buzzword Podcast. This is a podcast which helps you to understand what all these business and marketing buzzwords actually mean and how they can be helpful or not going forward. I'm your host, Ben Roberts, and in this show, I'm the marketing bee in charge of making sure I get on the right guests and ask the right questions to make sure that these words and phrases actually make sense. And in today's show, we talk about something that I have a lot of real feelings towards, and it's chatbots. And I'm really excited for you to listen to this episode. Before we do so though, I need to remind you this podcast is powered by Talkative. Talkative is a company that brings together live web chat, voice calls, video calls, and co-browsing together into one package embedded into your website. This allows you to offer a more seamless customer experience and allow your customers to contact you through different channels without stretching your resources any further. Find out more at talkative.uk. And one final thing before we get on to this week's guest, if you are loving the show, please do feel free to leave a review on iTunes. I really appreciate it. We've had a few more come in, but nowhere near enough for the amount of listeners that I've got on the show. So please, if you haven't, it'll take you less than 2 seconds. Please do leave a review of the show. I really do appreciate it. Alright, that's more than enough about me. It's time to introduce this week's guest. Now, this week's expert buzzword bee is someone I met at the start of the year in person, and she blew my mind. I've been following her on social media, all her different channels for a fair while now, and it's great that we're able to finally sync up calendars and be able to get her on. So this week's expert buzzword bee is a lady called Kelly Noble Mirabella, and Kelly is a self-described social media geek and marketing consultant with Stellar Media Marketing. With more than 11 years of social media marketing experience and more than a few wacky costumes, Kelly brings tricky social media concepts to life through her fun, clear and memorable social media training videos and classes. And Kelly has spent the last 2 years learning to build Facebook Messenger bots, aka chatbots, and now teaches other people how to build them with simple, entertaining and sometimes 80s themed tutorials, which are so fun. So yes, check these out if you want to, honestly, highly recommended. So, without further ado, let's get on with the show. Hi Kelly, and welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks Ben. I'm so excited to be here.
No, I'm so excited again. Like the theme with everyone that I try and get on, trying to synchronize diaries can be an absolute nightmare, but we've finally been able to make this happen.
It was kismet.
Oh god, I'm so glad. And chatbots is something that I've been wanting, and I've been waiting for you, Kelly.
I know, we've been trying to make this happen for a while.
But, yeah, because chatbots is one of those things that I was like, identifying the buzzwords early on, and chatbots was one. I was like, I really want to make sure because it's so prominent right now, I really want to make sure I got on the right person to be able to help, I guess, break down this buzzword, and again, like I try and do with all the ones, try and understand why it is or isn't important. So Kelly, I'm gonna go straight at you and go, why are chatbots important, and are they the real deal?
Yes. So I don't know how many of your listeners are aware that the third quarter call for the Facebook board of directors, if you will, just took place, and they released quite a bit of that. And one of the big takeaways was something that those of us in the chatbot world have already known, and that is Facebook Messenger, messaging apps in general, your WhatsApps, what have you, are huge. They've seen an explosion of growth. More and more people are taking to the private messaging section of the internet to communicate. And chatbots allow businesses to be a part of that communication platform. So chatbots are really a powerful way for businesses to tap into where their customers tend to be going right now. Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp, both owned by Facebook, are the top two across the board in the world platforms for messaging. Currently, WhatsApp does not allow chatbots, but Facebook Messenger does. And depending on what part of the world you're in, it's the number one or number two messaging platform.
Yeah, I know. I think between all my pretty much all my messages, that it is pretty much Facebook owned platforms, applications that pretty much dominate the messaging sphere. And is that the real importance? Because I know I use Messenger and WhatsApp a huge amount to communicate with friends, but especially for, say, let's look at B2B business, for example, how much use do B2B businesses of all different shapes and sizes really get out of Facebook Messenger? Is a chatbot something that people go, oh, that could be a nice to have, but really we don't get that many messages through, so is it really worth the time,
Sure.
if that makes sense?
Yeah, so the cool thing about Facebook chatbots on the Messenger platform for businesses is it's not necessarily one of those things where it's like, oh, they're just there, so we'll send the messages. It's something you can actively use to grow your business and actively use to reach out to people and keep continuing to grow the engagement and what have you. And you can use a chatbot in so many ways. One of the most powerful things that you can consider is, well, number one, we all know as businesses on Facebook, if you have a Facebook business page over the past year or two, really, the reach has been dismal, right? For our content. It's really hard to get in front of our audience. And as of late, we've heard a lot of buzz about getting viewers on our Facebook videos and, getting links to our blogs through Facebook. And, is all these things dead? And the cool thing about something like a chatbot is it gives you back control over your audience. So if your audience actually wants to receive your videos or your read your blogs or check out your latest video over on YouTube or your podcast, you can build a chatbot to deliver directly to your subscribers what they're looking for in a way that's easy, it's accessible for both the business and for the end user.
Is it something, though, that is potentially seen as impersonal? Now, my personal view on this is interesting because people say that chatbots are, I guess, unhuman and impersonal. But I guess there are things like emails never been overly personal, mass emails and stuff. So, but that seems to be, for me, one of the barriers that people will say in terms of, they say to you, okay, I can see that I can deliver my content, but it's not very human. It's this form of communication. It isn't real, I guess what people would say.
Yeah.
So how would you, as someone who then builds chatbots, how do you deal with that sort of questioning, and how do you sort of potentially look at changing people's perspectives on that?
Sure. I love this question too, because it's across the board marketing on any platform. You could say the same thing about email, like you said. You could say the same thing about text messaging. You could say the same thing about picking up a phone. It just depends on the delivery. And something that I teach in my classes and in my videos and with my students, what have you, is that you have to bring that personality. I get compliments all the time because I'm building chatbots, and people will go through them and they'll say to me, I know it's a chatbot because at the beginning, I always introduce my chatbot as a chatbot. It's my chatbot assistant. My personal chatbot assistant is called MikaBot, which is named after my dog. And I do recommend businesses name their chatbot, introduce your chatbot as a chatbot assistant. Hello, I am a robot, but I'm a fun robot. And then people will go through my chatbots and they'll say, I know I'm talking to this robot that you built, but I can hear your voice. And that's really what I want businesses to strive to do across the board in all their communications, is no matter how you're delivering your communications, put some personality into it. That's all in the hands of the business. So yes, I understand where they're coming from, where, Facebook Messenger, you're building this, quote unquote robot that's sending out messages, but you, the person building it, are instilling your personality or whatever you want to put into that. You are building it. It is not automatically creating its own personality. So you have full control over how you want the tone to be in these deliveries. But the cool thing about Messenger over any other platform in terms of communications is that it is quick, it is accessible, it is there. People are, taking note. If you get pinged on Facebook and it says, hey, you got a message, you pretty much stop what you're doing and you look at what that is, right? So it can be very personalized and it can be fun. And I would highly recommend people bring a little personality and fun to their chatbots, because that's where I've seen the most successful chatbots.
Do you find then that, because I absolutely love that idea. I love the idea of personality and bring it in. So especially when it's, I guess, you as a solopreneur and as someone, it can literally be an extension of you, because it can be where you can't physically be at that one time. Again, you're in a meeting and someone's messaged you. Now, while that time you're actually in a meeting, this chatbot could have done so many things to you. So as soon as you're out that meeting, you can come back to them straight away with whatever they need. Whereas I guess if you were in that meeting and someone sent you a message as a solopreneur, for example, you couldn't answer that question necessarily, and that is a potential customer lost. But and is that why as well you'd always introduce a chatbot as a chatbot, for example? Why would you do it that way? Is it just so people know, or is it a fact of, or is there some sort of regulations that are coming in that deal with this? How does that work?
Great question. So a couple of reasons. The first and foremost is there are regulations starting to come out that state if you are a bot, whether you're a chatbot or you're a bot on Twitter, you have to be clear. And I believe currently only the state of California has that law, which was recently just passed by our governor. I'm in California.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. California likes to do a lot of this stuff, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. But when that was released earlier this fall, really, it was like late summer, early fall, we had a lot of people were freaking out. Oh my gosh, this is going to ruin chatbot. No, it's not. Those of us who have already been instilling personality into our bots and introducing our bots, we're like, okay, it's no big deal because we already do this. The reason you want to do this is when I go and I speak on this topic, or I go and teach, the very first question that I ask is, how many of you in the audience think that chatbots are annoying, and how many of you think they're helpful? Well, at the beginning of my talk, a resounding large amount of numbers of people are saying they're annoying, but by the end, they're all, oh, wow, these are helpful. And the reason is that when you introduce your bot, if you will, as, hey, I am Kelly's chatbot assistant here to help you, but by the way, I can grab Kelly at any time, but let's get you what you need, then you are being a useful bot. If you are just trying to, get in front of people and deceive them, that's the thing. People don't want to be deceived, right? We don't want to feel like we're talking to a human and then realize, oh, wait a second.
Yes.
We're okay if you're upfront with us. So be upfront with people. Don't treat them like they're stupid. People don't like feeling stupid they don't like being felt like you think they're stupid. So there's no downfall for being upfront. Trust me, there's none. If you say, hey, I am a chatbot assistant, I am here to help you. But of course, we could grab a human at any time. You can build that functionality into your bot. But if instead of doing that, I was like, hey, Kelly here, how can I help you? And then you start communicating, you realize pretty quick, wait a second, then you're feeling deceived, right? Like I lied to you. We don't want to ever make our audience make them feel, lied to.
Yeah, because that's the experience that I've had personally with chatbots before, which again, like you said before, it sort of can help warp people's views to chatbots, i.e. the fact that actually it's not been properly introduced, so you don't know whether this is a live chat simulation where you're actually chatting to a person, and when it's not. And I guess one of the questions I sort of jotted down then is, do people get annoyed, and how can you resolve those issues within a chatbot? And I guess you answered part of that question already. So actually giving them the option straight away, look, we can grab a person anytime. It's not about necessarily and this is where people maybe need to be quite clear with chatbots. They're not necessarily there to replace humans. Yes, they can do things which humans can't, or can do things quicker, but actually they can't do certain things like certain empathy. They can't necessarily always understand context. Being able to give the choice of both and help people really understand that this is a chatbot, but and it can help you with all these areas, but if you do get stuck, this is where a human can help. So
absolutely.
How else can sort of people who build chatbots like yourself, or a business that actually wants to implement a chatbot, so has got a chatbot now, can they also help resolve people's issues? Are there ways that you can build your chatbot to make it easier on the user experience?
Right. So the very first thing we've already talked about, you got to set expectations, right? I am a chatbot. Here's what to expect. But apart from that, there's a couple of things to remember. Number one, with Facebook Messenger bots, you cannot send a message from a business page, which is where your chatbot lives, to other people, not necessarily to your subscribers, to other people, unless they are subscribers. And the way they become subscribers is all they have to do is message your page. So always goes back to the first thing, which is set expectations. So if you are signing people up for whatever you're signing them up for, and you have a way for them to jump into the chatbot. Maybe they make a comment on a Facebook post that leads them into the chatbot. Maybe they click on a link that leads them into the chatbot. Whatever the entry point is, be explicit about the fact that you will be entering my chatbot, and then have the very first message explain to them up front, set those expectations. Hey, this is what you should expect. If you don't want to be in here, cool, just let me know and I will take you right out. And I've been building chatbots for 2 years now, and I've had one person in 2 years complain to me that I should have never sent them a message. Ironically, I actually did what I'm telling you. I was very straightforward. I always am. So you're always going to have one person, right? But the resounding number of people are like, cool, man, that's fine. The other thing to remember is the golden rule, and this goes across the board with marketing. A lot of the things that I'm going to talk about are really foundational pieces of marketing. I'm going to treat my audience the way I want to be treated. I have to take my marketing hat off, my business hat off, and go into my consumer mode, my regular Joe, everyday Kelly mode. Would this annoy me? Are you sending too many messages? Are you sending unnecessary messages? Are you not making it easy for people to opt out? Because we have to remember, we do not necessarily want the world on our list. The numbers don't matter if the people don't care. So we only want the people who care on our list, right? So make it easy for them to get off the list if you're annoying them, because then they're happy. So, these are all foundational things. Setting expectations is something that we should all do in business in general. Making sure that we create chatbots that are easy to navigate and bring value is another one. And treating our audience the way we would want to be treated if we were in their shoes. These are kind of the things that make a chatbot not annoying.
No, I like that. I absolutely love that. It does. Again, a lot of these things come back to the principles of marketing. I love the way that you just first and foremost put yourself from the customer or the user's perspective, because ultimately, look, if you were to get annoyed at your own damn chatbot, then it's going to get
problem.
Yeah, exactly. It's in you. If you're not willing to use or try or set your own product, then why would people buy it off you? It's that same sort of principle, and I absolutely love that. Again, the other bit was the fact that it's not about the size of your list, it's about that engagement rate. Now, one thing, there are two different bits I want to go this. The first bit is, at the moment, we're seeing absolutely massive open and engagement rates on chatbots. They're incredible compared to things like email. Now, but I have a concern, Kelly. Right, here we are. I've just sat back in my chair here now to be super serious.
I'm ready for you.
Is chatbots going to be the new email? So it's like, for example, before, marketing used to be that everyone was just shouting at each other from market stalls, and then we bring in direct mail. Direct mail was amazing for a time and then got filled up by junk, so people moved away from there. They moved to email. Email was great for a time, you got all this stuff, and then it became full of junk and people started ignoring it. Now people are moving to chatbots as their way of direct communication. So direct mail was your most direct way of communication, email is now direct communication, now we're looking at chatbots. Are we going to be moving down? Is it just another cyclic thing where we're going to see, actually, in a couple of years, it's going to be full of junk and spam and everyone's going to hate chatbots? Is this just a really good couple of years for chatbots before that everyone goes, oh, damn chatbots again? Or is this something that you think is actually something that maybe is going to break that wheel and break that cycle a little bit?
I'm going to go a little yes and no here. I'm going to say that your numbers will decrease over time as more and more people jump on. It's just a natural occurrence in business, right? The more people that are using the platform, and honestly, we all know the saying, marketers ruin everything. The more marketers out there making bad chatbots, we train our audience to not open it. But also the more people learn how to use Messenger, which we're seeing more and more of, they're learning how to kind of filter out certain things or what have you. So the open rates will go down a little bit. The click-through rates especially will go down. But big but here, it will not, and it is not a replacement for email. This is a completely different platform. Email is really a long form correspondent. It's a place where we have a little bit more copy involved, right? Whereas you cannot have that in a messenger. If you try to write a full out email and throw it over into Facebook Messenger, you're going to fail. It's not going to work. You need to take 2 paragraphs and turn it into a tweet and put it into your Facebook Messenger. The other thing that is the no on this argument is that going back to how people subscribe. So with email, it's really easy to just, buy a list or just add people to your list, right? And then just send out these emails and hope for the best. So that's going to basically ruin your open rates and your click-through rates. And a lot of bad practices are out there that allow people to do this. For instance, I hear a lot of people give this horrible advice to go to your LinkedIn connections, download the list and add it to your email list. Don't do that. It's first of all, it's against like all the email all the email laws out there, but it's really annoying. You can't do that with chatbots. You just can't. You have to subscribe. Like I said, it is in the hands of the end user, which is wonderful because we can say all day long, marketers ruin everything, and they will try. But in this communication form, it is fully in the hands of the end user. So we have a little bit more control as consumers on what is coming in and annoying us. And that's a wonderful thing because then it kind of lessens the blow, like with email where you just see these rates that are just drop. That being said, the yes is, well, I mean, obviously the numbers are going to go down because, there's only so much that we can take, and the more and more we have people. But I foresee these numbers to stay consistently higher than email for a very long time. Not only that, but I also foresee chatbots and the messenger platform, which we're already seeing, continue to evolve to be easier for the end user and for businesses to implement and use without annoying each other.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key things now. It's a lot more in control of the end user's hands these days, which actually means that it's even better for them, but also means actually the quality of delivery from businesses has to be much higher and much better. So yes, it might be slightly more work, but if you've got a highly targeted email list with highly active subscribers, then you're going to get incredible returns from that. And I guess that's it is a lot less crowded space at the moment. People do read their messages, and actually I guess if you get your messages right, then actually I think you're right here. Over time, you are going to be considerably better off than an email. But I guess it's different methodology. Again, it's not like you don't send necessarily the same things through emails you do direct mail. You don't send the same types of messages, the same message.
Don't try.
Yeah, you don't write the same message. Again, it's more of a conversational platform, whereas email isn't necessarily a conversational platform. It has incredible uses. But again, like on an email, I could potentially send 8 different articles that are incredible about this. You wouldn't send that through a chatbot. So again, it's trying to understand, I guess, where business will make many mistakes doing this.
Yes.
But actually, it's trying to understand again. Remember, putting yourself in the user's perspective is,
Absolutely.
Look, would they want to receive 8 different links to different blog posts on a chat? Probably not. Whereas email,
we got to keep it real simple. The KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. That's the KISS method.
Yes.
That is so important here. And I think, going back to this question, because it comes up all the time, email versus messenger, what have you. If you are an early adapter to any platform, and especially in a platform for communications like these chatbots, messenger, marketing, what have you, you are in the select few that get to help train the audience, right? So do we want to train our audience to be annoyed by chatbots, or do we want them to be trained to be excited about corresponding with us? So when we create our, especially the early adapters, when we create our correspondence, when we create our chatbot messages, really stopping and pausing and thinking about, is this going to be something that trains them, pushes them in the direction of, I'm excited to get this message? Or is this pushing them in the direction of, it's just kind of annoying. I don't really need this. Why'd they send this to me? So, editing ourselves. And that's something I even struggle with, is because, I'm a marketer too. I want to get, out there. I want to play with these toys. And we need to make sure that anytime we send something out, whether it's a chatbot, again, I'm a foundational marketer. It goes across the board. I want to put my best foot forward. I want to put my audience's best interest in mind, and make sure that I am training them to be excited to hear from me, and not training them to think, oh, Kelly again, right?
Hey, Kelly, I could never hear too much from you. Never hear too much. I don't believe that anyone could ever hear too much from you.
Thank you.
No, but seriously, I guess this leads me on to literally another. This is going super well so far in terms of segueing from one point to the next without even planning.
I try to make your life easier.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job. And one of the questions I had then is, okay, so we're putting ourselves in the user's perspective now, and we're understanding how we can resolve their issues. I guess the next question is then, in terms of the value again, how do you decide how you're going to set up your chatbot? As in, do you set it up, for example, as a customer service tool? Do you set it up as an all-encompassing tool? How do you know how to set it up? Do you try and set up everything so it can deal with all sorts of high-level questions? Do you, we'll look at it from a general perspective. Each individual business and industry will be slightly different, but maybe how would you recommend that, and what sort of use cases have you seen for where people have set up chatbots really well and potentially really poorly, in terms of either being too specific, too wide? Do you get what I mean by that?
Yeah, totally. So again, like you said, it depends on the business, but I think the two things here: 99% of companies out there that want to use or are currently using chatbots are not going to be making an AI chatbot, an artificial intelligence, all-encompassing, solve the world's problems, this thing can run our business chatbot. You're not going to see that, because that is incredibly expensive. And in most cases, the tech isn't there. Most businesses are building on a platform like ManyChat, like ChatFuel, and they are solving first and foremost one problem, and then kind of developing from there. So that problem, maybe it's customer service. Maybe you're finding that there's so many inquiries coming in, and you just need someone like a chatbot to get in there and slow people down a little bit, right? Just like, give us a minute. So you might just have a simple chatbot that goes in and it just says, hey, Ben, I see that you have questions about this. We get these questions a lot. Can we help you kind of find your answer by XYZ? So you have like choose your own adventure of buttons, and kind of goes, and you only take them so far before they get annoyed, right? So if you can't get them in like 3 steps to answer what they want, then you're assigning a human to pop in and say, hey, I'm Kelly, I'm here to help you. Let's get to the bottom of this. And I can see from my chatbot assistant, you're looking for this. So here you go. Or are you building a lead qualifier? I know that Andrew and Pete, great example of chatbot users. I'm heavily involved in watching their chatbots. I've built a couple of their chatbots, and they actually have a full out lead qualifier chatbot that is built out. I think it's like a 5-step chatbot that takes people from their website into the chatbot and qualifies them for their Atomic membership. And it is brilliant. It is really a streamlined process of getting people from I'm not sure to why aren't you sure to sure, I'll try it, So you can do lead qualification. I have other clients who are network marketers, an individual working for a larger company selling something. And they have shown really great success creating a chatbot that is specifically for a Facebook Live they do to showcase a product where people can buy off of that video using a chatbot trigger. jump into the chatbot from there, and it says, here are the products, sign up now, click, 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 and boom. So there is a chatbot flow, if you will, or sequence for just about anything you need. But I think the real thing is we'll start with the biggest need first and don't overcomplicate it. If a human can do it better, use a human, right? But if it's just like repetitive, or if your hands are tied and you're busy, or you're, on a Facebook Live trying to sell something to people in the moment, or you're trying to get them to sign up for a webinar and they're in the moment, then you're not two people. So your chatbot could kind of help with that. So the first thing I would say is write down where you see a chatbot can help, not just your business, but the end user, always with the end user in mind. Where's the value for the end user? What makes their life easier when it comes to buying from you, communicating from you, what have you, and then build that chatbot first. And what you'll find is when you build one and you start kind of testing it and building it a little and changing it and making it perfect, because as people are using it, you're going to go, oh, I should add a keyword trigger here. Or, oh, people aren't really using this side of the chatbot. Let's get rid of that. Then once you've kind of gotten a solid grasp with that one chatbot, then you'll just build another and then another, and you'll just keep building different ones to solve different problems for your audience. I wouldn't build one chatbot to solve all the problems, but many little chatbots to solve many little problems.
I think that's a really nice way of looking at it. I guess that's one of the questions that when I've been chatting with people that they would have, is trying to understand actually how they would actually set it up in terms of, I guess, with a live web chat sort of product, it would go to a person, that person would almost assign, and someone in the business would be able to answer that question, so you could just pass it on to someone else. So trying to do a chatbot without having to knock people off because it won't get the right answers. It's actually setting up that expectations from the start. This is going to help you solve. We can help you. This chatbot will help you solve X, Y, Z problems, and then so it's actually you'd almost rather limit it, and then you can expand it out than try and be too expansive and be all to all your customers and find that it's actually then falls apart and actually messes up your user experience, which is where you hear a lot. Again, some of the negative stories around chatbots is because they've tried to. Tried too much, and they've just failed, or trying to be a jack of all, and they've been a jack of all trades and been a master of absolutely none of them.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you one of the worst pieces of advice that chatbot trainers, I guess, chatbot people like myself give, and I've done it in the very beginning. I gave the same advice. Worst advice ever is to start with an FAQ chatbot, because what we do is we start building out a chatbot with a bajillion FAQs. And it's just, the tech is not there. It's just too complicated. Can you build them out? Yes. But an FAQ chatbot, a frequently asked question chatbot, is better served when you start with something really simple, like your top 3 questions, services, pricing, more about whatever topic you're into. So in my chatbot, I have my FAQs are, learn how to work with Kelly, more about Kelly, and services or chatbots, so I have like 4 options, and then they can kind of branch off from there. But as people engage with the chatbot more and more, then I'm seeing, oh, they're asking this question a lot, or this keyword keeps coming up, and I think that I can use my chatbot to answer that. So then I'm going to add that piece to it. But there's always an element of, go grab Kelly. I don't even want to, it's always there. It's always very visible. Go ask Kelly. And then my chatbot will say something clever like, okay, I'm going to go grab Kelly and drag whatever child is attached to her leg away from them and bring her over, because most people know I'm a mom of small kids. So, again, personality. So always make it easy for people to get out of the chatbot and get into a human conversation. But if you're going to build something like an FAQ, it seems simple, right? Oh, let's start with FAQs because we know all of our FAQs. That's where most people fail. They try to do too much at the first. And what we need to do is start with the basics, start with like the top 4 questions if you're going to do a FAQ. Make it an easy menu where they can direct to your website or what have you. And then as people engage with it more and more, then you're slowly kind of building in where people really do use the chatbot. And that's how you create a clever FAQ chatbot. But if I were the people, I wouldn't even start with an FAQ chatbot. I would start with one problem that you want to solve. You want to, sell something. You want people to view your video more. You want people to go, sign up for a webinar. Start with something small, build that chatbot first.
Yeah, I think that's the key, isn't it? I think that's where a lot of general business advice as well, isn't it? Is don't overstretch yourself. Find one problem and fix that problem that exists right now, or that is thing that you've got an issue with, or you need to help people with, or people can't connect with you because of this. Fix that one issue, and then you can build out from there. I mean, it's where you try and fix 16 problems at once that you end up actually not fixing really any of them properly.
Exactly. Don't overthink it. And that's a thing that actually I was talking in my latest video over on my YouTube channel about, is even when you start building a chatbot, a lot of people make this mistake where they want to build the world's largest flow. And for those of you who know how to, all these keywords, a flow is just like an arm of the chatbot. It's just one piece of it. And people will try to build their entire chatbot in one flow, and it's huge. And my advice is don't do that, because you want to build kind of separate arms that all connect, separate flows that all connect into one chatbot, like a puzzle pieces, because then you get less glitching. If one arm breaks or gets injured, if you will, it's easier to fix that than if it's all in one giant flow and you're trying to figure out where the problem is. So overthinking it goes in all aspects of our chatbot building.
Yeah, no, I think that's something that's already got my mind going, is actually just trying to just almost simplify things. I guess where I've looked at chatbots before and other people, again, it's looking like they are these big monsters, when actually it's bringing it back and making it simple. A chatbot doesn't have to be all things, and it can be simple. Now, on that note as well, is if you have built a chatbot then and people have started using it, what sort of data can you actually get back from these chatbots? So if you need to, so we've started
what
off.
Do you need?
Yeah, we started off small. We've started getting people, to sign up to our course, for example. Now, how do we understand what's working, what's not working, which lead flows are working on? What sort of data can we get back from these chatbots in order to make improvements in the future?
So that's the beautiful thing about chatbots, is that it is immediate statistics. As soon as someone hits a button, I can actually actively sit there and watch my numbers rise. And I can see I can open up, like, I'm a really visual person, so I can open up a visual flow, a whole mapping, if you will, of the whole chatbot. And I can see this percentage of people opened it, this percentage of people actively started it, this percentage got this far, this percentage got this far, this percentage got, took these actions. So I can see the actions that are happening. I can also pull data out, pretty much anything I want, as long as I'm asking them for it. So I can ask you, what's your birthday? And I can pull that data. I can ask someone, what's your email address? And Facebook makes it insanely easy to grab that. I can ask you for your phone number. I can grab your full name. I don't even have to ask you for that. There's a lot of data that pretty much any data that is available in Facebook can be, I say can be, not automatically is, but can be available to the chatbot producer, if you will, because it's there. The data is there. We just have to ask the right questions. And then I can export it all into like a Google spreadsheet automatically. So I've done full surveys inside of my chatbots where I'm pulling, I ask certain questions and I'm pulling all of that data out. I can figure out what percentage of my, database is in a certain geographical location. So it's really a matter of what do you want to know about your audience? And then if Facebook doesn't automatically give that content, because I think there's only like 4 things that Facebook automatically gives you, and that's their name, location, and one other thing I can't think of off the top of my head. But everything else is still available. You just have to ask. So I would have to say, Ben, can I have your email address so I can send you this thing? And then it would automatically generate the email address within Facebook that you use, and you would just click it, and I would be able then to have access to it because you've given me access to it at that point. So what do you want to know? And you can build it out. It is the ultimate segmentation tool. I can segment quickly, effectively, and really create different broadcasts, different chatbot messaging that are customized to that audience. So if I'm doing an event that is just for, really for women in their 30s, and they own a cat, I can really start to segment my list to build that out. If I know I'm launching an e-course for entrepreneurs next year, then I'm going to start segmenting now and start asking questions that kind of help me to understand my audience better. And if they match that. So when it's time for me, we got to think ahead sometimes, right? As marketers, we actually have to be thinking ahead of time. And I can actually build out my segmentation to match what I'm going to need in, 3-4 months from now, so I can market really effectively. And that will also increase my open rates and what have you.
Yeah, no, that makes a huge amount of sense. I've been a bit of a skeptic of chatbots for a fair while now. But I'm chatting with you, Kelly, and you're starting to win me over a little bit. And
oh, good.
I'm a little bit annoyed at myself for letting you do this to me, but I know. But generally, I can see that when you put things in actually, when you think about things from a real logical standpoint, in terms of actually thinking of things from a user perspective, there are certain things that actually you do not need to necessarily have a chat with a human for, and actually it does elongate the process. And actually, a human can frustrate certain processes, whereas a chatbot can make certain things easier. Like if you have your process is right, you have the user in mind, and you create the flows that are the right flows. It sounds quite easy. Create the right flows for the right people at the right time. But it is with the data that you can collect, you're able to do that, and actually it will have a huge amount of positive impact. I guess the difficulty is just trying to make sure from your perspective, you know your users and you know what you're trying to get out of the chatbot. When you don't really, it seems like if you don't really know what you want your users to get out of the chatbot, that is when the real problems
don't build it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't build it. If you don't have a clue what you're like, if you're just like, I don't see how this can work, then don't build it yet. I say yet, because you just need to talk to someone like myself or someone else in the chatbot field that can kind of brainstorm with you. I bet you we can find a chatbot for you. I believe all businesses can benefit from at least one chatbot. And it's usually a really simple chat. I'm a big fan. You probably have noticed I'm a big fan of simple chatbots. Some of my favorite chatbots are games. I'm known for my games. I love games because they increase engagement, and you can direct people from a game to, a coupon for going to a restaurant. You could do bar trivia if you're a bar. You could do direct them to content. They're also sneaky ways of segmenting and learning more about your audience, because I'm a social media marketer. So I'll do trivia games based off social media platforms and learn more about how much my audience knows about certain platforms. So then I have a better idea of how I want to create content in the future. Or I might direct them to content based off of how they performed in my trivia game. So, there's a chatbot for everyone, but if you don't have an idea of what that looks like yet, don't build a chatbot just for the sake. And again, a chatbot isn't going to replace everything. Sometimes it's not the best solution. Sometimes email is the best solution. Sometimes a human is the best solution. So build a chatbot where they are going to be successful and useful.
Yeah, no, I can't agree more. I think that is the key thing, isn't it? It's helpful and useful. It's really, and but like you said, they come back to the sort of fundamentals of marketing, and that's where if you keep in mind those fundamentals of marketing, then a chatbot will likely work for you. But again, it's not going to necessarily be relevant to all people. Again, when people, I guess where I've caught people out, I guess on this podcast, where it's trying to say it's for all people. Well, it can't be for all people. Nothing is for all people. You almost throwing back to what you said earlier in the podcast. You can't be the 100% of the people 100% of the time. You would always get one unsubscribe because someone will go, well, actually, I don't want a business messaging me in my private messenger folder if that's what they feel it is. That's absolutely fine. So just don't, as long as you don't just have that in your mind that everyone is going to love your chatbot, then that's fine. But there's one other question I want to sort of finish up with to sort of round this up, Kelly, and it's on the platforms, I guess. So what platforms are out there, and how do they actually integrate with Facebook then? Because obviously you don't build necessarily these chatbots directly within Facebook, do you?
Sure. You can actually, you can, most people aren't, just so you know. If you know like Python code, or if you know any kind of coding, PHP or what have you, and you're a developer, you can build a custom chatbot in the API in the developers platform for Facebook. And it's free, but it's techy. Most people aren't doing that. So, and even developers would prefer not to do that because there's better ways. So the tools that are out there, there's so many tools. The top two that you're probably hearing out there in the marketplace are ManyChat and Chatfuel. I believe the other one that's kind of coming up right now is called Message Monkey or something like that. But the one that I use is ManyChat. I think that the reason that I use ManyChat is they really are constantly trying to better the platform. They're constantly adding new features. And I'm a very visual person. They have this thing called the visual builder that allows me to see how the flows are going, how the conversations, the choose your own adventures, the map out, if you will, of the conversation is. So I can see the whole thing and kind of see how people will be kind of going through everything. So I really like ManyChat. I know a lot of people like Chatfuel as well. I have heard of a lot of people jumping from Chatfuel over to ManyChat. I think the important thing to understand when you're using these tools and when you're using something that's so very fresh in the marketplace, it's been around for a couple of years, but it's really fresh right now in terms of the tools that are available, is there's going to be glitches, and sometimes it's going to break and sometimes it's not going to work. And you got to kind of roll with that. And that's the story of anyone who's an early adapter. You just got to be okay with imperfections sometimes, right?
Well, yeah, I work in a tech startup. I mean, if things aren't breaking, you haven't really built something new.
Right. Exactly. So it's an exciting time, but I would keep that in mind when you're using these tools. Is sometimes it's going to be a little frustrating that maybe a message button didn't work or what have you. You got to roll with it. But those are the tools that make it so easy. And one of the big things that I hear a lot of people say when they don't want to build is that they're kind of afraid of the tech. Like, oh, I don't know coding. It sounds so, you hear chatbot and you're like, oh, it sounds so complicated, but it's actually really, really easy with stuff like ManyChat. It's basically a drag and drop situation.
Yeah, it just sounds techy. And it's, again, people thought that about email marketing. Like, I've got to learn all this HTML line by line coding. Yes, you can build it that way, like within Facebook itself. But actually, look, let's use MailChimp as an example from an email perspective, and then from ManyChat they're just drag drop builders. WordPress, building a website can be really techy.
Super, super easy. And I'll give you an example. I have a student who went and watched, I did a training recently on how to use Facebook Live to sell with your chatbot, and showed the whole process of setting up. And she is not a techie person at all. She's a network marketer. She sells little girls' dresses. And within 30 minutes, she set up a chatbot and was able to run it. I had another person who's maybe the next level up from techie, still not super techie, not her business. She's also a network marketer that sells makeup. She made $500 in 20 minutes using a chatbot and a Facebook Live. And it took her 30 minutes to set up her chatbot from beginning to end. So everyone can do it if they want to do it and they see a use for it using a tool like ManyChat. It's actually quite easy.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. No, thank you so much for coming on today, Kelly. That is literally been almost like the dream sort of podcast for me. I mean, we've really helped debunk and demystify what some of the problems and perceptions are with chatbots, but actually then come up with some useful ways in which to avoid them, limit them, actually show how chatbots can be useful, and then talk about some of the tools that people can use, and actually how these were part of why I set up this podcast, was trying to help people understand that these new buzzwords and techie words don't necessarily have to be scary. They don't have to be something that you would avoid, but you can embrace them, and you can actually integrate them into your marketing strategy or your business. And actually, as long as you're thinking about, is it worth it for my business or not? Or then actually, yes, if you think, yes, the user will enjoy this, or the user will get something from this, then you can implement it. It's not, instead of just implementing tech for tech's sake, it's actually, what is the end value going to be? What do we want the result of these conversations or messages to be? And if you can answer that, and a chatbot is the answer, hell yes, damn, go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, there's a chatbot for everyone, but if you don't have it in your mind, to what that is, then don't worry about it right now until you have time to, talk to me and I'll help you. But yeah, if you can't find value for it, if there's a better way of doing it without a chatbot, then don't sweat it. It's fine.
Yeah, no, absolutely, most definitely. But Kelly, before I let you go, I need to ask you the question that I ask everyone at the end of each of these podcasts.
Sure.
And it's, Kelly, what marketing buzzwords out there right now are you absolutely loving or hating? What's making you go, I wish people had never started saying this term, it annoys the life out of me? Or something you're like, yes, I absolutely love this term, something I use on a daily basis, or it could be the next big thing.
Okay. There's a couple, but this is the one. It's a phrase. It's killing me. I hate it. It's is dead. Is dead. Everything is dead, right? Everything is dead. So video is dead.
If not, it's very close to death and it's very dying.
Video is dead. Email is dead. Everything is dead. Google Plus really is dead, though. I mean, let's get that.
Well, it's not dead. No, it's still not dead yet. Again, it's very close to death.
At the end of the year. It's near death. And I just feel like it's a little clickbaity because, again, I'm a foundational marketer. And in the grand scheme of foundational marketing, these platforms aren't dead. It's just you need to figure out how to best serve your audience based off the foundations that we know about using marketing to find success. And it's not that video is dead or Facebook is dead or what have you until they really are. Google Plus, like you said, not dead yet. It's how can I best serve my audience while also making it worthwhile for my business? And sometimes you have to pivot. And in social media marketing, we pivot a lot. It doesn't mean something's dead. It just means it might not be working in the best interest of our business or our audience's best interest. So I can't stand the word it's dead because I feel like it's just clickbaity. It's sensationalized. And I'm just such a foundationalist when it comes to marketing that I'm just not into the hype. I think it scares too many people into thinking that they have to switch gears when maybe they don't. Maybe what is dead is actually alive in their world. Yeah,
exactly. And look, different audiences, different industries, things are more prominent or less prominent at any one time. So, for example, Facebook was not of interest to sort of middle-aged people, and now actually
it is.
now it's like the thing, and so people over to Instagram, and then a couple of years we'll be like, Instagram is dead for Gen Z because the next thing's come around. It's just like people. I mean, the one that annoys me off this one is SEO is dead. Oh my god, I've heard that.
No, it's not.
Since I started working marketing, SEO's been dead, and yet
right?
It's just like absolutely crazy. Like I've never known a time where SEO isn't dead.
I feel you. It's like long form blogging. Blogging is dead. Actually, if we talk about the two deaths of SEO and blogging, and we know on the back end that those two together are definitely not dead, it's just everything changes and we need to be adaptable and learn how to use the platforms or the tools, the SEO, the long form blogs, the video, what have you, in the proper way and not be stuck always in our, this is what has always worked for us.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I can probably wrap this up quite nicely. Actually, I just suddenly had a thought, and we could just summarize it with marketing is dead. Long live marketing.
Yes, it's perfect.
Yeah. And what about something that you absolutely love, Kelly? Come on, sorry, let's end this on the positive. I'm a half glass full sort of guy.
Oh gosh, I love community, and I think it's going to be a word that we're going to hear a lot as a buzzword, but I think in the essence of community, we actually just heard Mark Zuckerberg talking about it in the Q3 call, is that they're really pushing community. But to me, community is less about groups and group messaging, right? It's more about real world. Let's get out and meet people. Let's have, retreats with each other. Let's go on vacation with each other. Let's go to conferences and meet up. Let's get back to the tweet up times when we actually met people in person. And I'm really into the real world community. And I think we're going to see more and more people utilizing their relationships they make online, but in the real world. And that's something I'm very excited about.
Yeah, we've got a lot of LinkedIn local groups and stuff. Those sort of things really sort of appeal to me as well. So I like that one a lot.
Awesome.
Also, thanks so much for coming on today, Kelly. I've had a blast, and I know this has been so jam-packed full of information. I can't wait to get this episode out live for everyone to listen to.
Yeah, I am so excited that I was able to come on your show. Thank you so much, Ben.
Hey, anytime it's okay. Speak soon. Bye.
Bye.
I think if you've listened back to a number of these podcast episodes that I've done, read some of the posts I maybe put on social media, I'm not always the biggest fan of chatbots. I understand that they have their place, and I think that they are and can be used to incredible effect. But I was never convinced of actually how they could really be used without being used well. And actually, this conversation with Kelly helped highlight and open my eyes a little bit into the possibilities of chatbots and actually how you can present your chatbot in a way that doesn't necessarily replace the humans, doesn't manipulate people, doesn't actually negatively impact the user experience, which is where obviously a lot of negativity around chatbots is that they're not human and that they can't answer all the questions, they can't understand context. So it's actually trying to look at that balance between what a chatbot is and how it can help versus not help, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. So do check out Kelly's videos. I love them, and I think you will too. And please, if you did enjoy this episode, please do leave a review on iTunes. I appreciate it so much, so much. And I'll be back on Thursday with another bite-sized buzzword. Goodbye.
This podcast is part of the You Are the Media Network.